League of Wildness, Wildman Dan here. Welcome to day 3 of our Vietnam trip report. And I just got back from visiting the main factory, which is about an hour and a half outside of the city. And it's pretty wild to see. So, very nice area, kind of countryside, very green, some mountains in the area, and very nice facility. There's about 1,000 people doing different parts of the production process, but it's so wild to see just the process. If you look at the process from like this high level perspective, it seems quite complex, which it is. But if you look at it, if you start to look at each individual component, it becomes much more simpler. So we did a tour of the factory and I went by it pretty quick. And it's one of those things where I'm just seeing kind of surface level. So we did this kind of quick tour and then we went back again and really broke down kind of each step of the process. So I learned a ton. And again, it's just being able to see it for myself in person, understand the process, understand how things work. It's going to just help us in the future with Wild Gym becoming a better brand, a better manufacturer, and ultimately deliver a better product for you guys. What I found most fascinating was, again, you're working with a global supply chain for raw materials, whether that's fabrics, trimmings, different components, hooks, zippers, things like that. It's a global supply chain. That all needs to be coordinated to get to the factory here. And then within the factory, each step, like if you kind of look at the lines, each individual step is relatively simple. It's essentially a person at a sewing machine or a person at a table working on an individual part. So each actual step is quite simple. What I found fascinating was how it all synergizes to get to that final assembly and that final product. And what I also wanted to share with you guys is essentially kind of the quality control side of it. So that's something that Wild Gym can really dictate, and we can work with the factory to do what makes sense. And these guys, a lesson I learned a long time ago is you need to be very specific with your manufacturing partner in your factory. You need to be very specific, and you need to tell them how the product is being used. It's extremely important. It seems obvious, but if you don't communicate clearly the actual application of what you're making, it can lead to assumptions by the factory and problems down the road. So rule number 1, tell the factory what you're doing with the product you're making and how it's used specifically. So I think I gave the example of, for the ruck backpack, we were talking about strength issues, things of that. When we were talking, they thought I was saying 17 as in 17 kilograms when I was saying 7D, so 7T, I should say, D, 7T. But just little things like that, you need to be very clear and communicate. It's really just, it's communication and it's relationships. But again, back to the factory, each individual step is very simple. It all culminates into something that's awesome. But what I want to share with you guys and what excited me as well is just the systemization that I've seen. So again, these guys are professionals. They've been doing it for decades. They know what they're doing. They're working with other very, very high quality brands. So the quality, I'm not worried about at all. But it's always good to trust but verify. But what we kind of walked through at the end of the tour was essentially setting up these kind of SOPs, so standing operating procedures, checkpoints to make sure we're maintaining quality control. So super awesome to see, great to meet everyone. And it's cool seeing, behind the curtain a little bit and just understanding that whole entire process. The next step is I would need to go understand how, I don't have it here with me, but for example, we make a custom fabric. So you could even get one step far. You could keep going down the supply chain and really diving deep. So it's fascinating to see. It's fascinating to learn. And so right now It's a little after, well, it's 2:45 p.m. here in Vietnam. We spent most of the day visiting the factory, and we're gonna be tomorrow first thing. Oh, excuse me. Still catching up on sleep. So today's Wednesday. It's March 7th here. Tomorrow, Thursday, we'll go back to the sample room here in the city, and we're going to be essentially finalizing the shoulder straps, the back panel, and that's really the most important. That's really what I came for, was to finalize that, and we're doing that for the sizes. So again, we'll have that small, medium size, we'll have the large XL size. So that will be the focus on tomorrow. Hopefully we can get it done tomorrow. If not, we have Friday and then half of Saturday. So I feel confident we'll be able to get that done this trip. And then we're also just checking off other kind of miscellaneous items. For example, we increased the zipper size. We changed like the I don't know what the term would be for it, but the pull. Basically the attachment you'll use on the zipper to actually pull it. We added a few pockets some places. I've got some cool surprises to show you guys once we get to that next like real sample. I'll be excited to show you guys some of the changes we made. Working on pockets for the plates. Again, most of what we're doing is just small adjustments. The biggest being the shoulder straps and the back panel, just how that's fitting and all that. So overall, I'm super psyched, and yeah, I just can't wait to see you guys get out there and ruck Wild Gym style. I just think there's a photo on the campaign page that kind of shows the Ruck backpack, Neon Buffalo, Pocket Monkey, Monkey 360. It shows this ecosystem of products, and just seeing that and how it all ties together and all those cross-pollinations, it really gets me excited for the future. And you know, I think it's been a journey to get to this point, but I feel like Wild Gym is maturing as a business where there's this really cohesive offering, both from like a physical product perspective, but also tying that together on the training side, and then, you know, having our online community, our challenges. I'm really enjoying Wild Gym. So thank you guys. Thanks for the stoke. We can always use the extra help and support. So if you know someone that might be interested in rucking or Wild Gym, please share the campaign, share Wild Gym in general, and stoked to report back to you guys tomorrow. Wildman Dan signing out. Stay wild, everyone.